Welcome to the show tonight. Thank you for joining me. I am recording super last minute because I had quite the busy weekend. And so it is what it is. I'm finally getting around to it. And you're not going to believe this. I can't find my notes. So you're getting the realness of the realness. That is amazing. They have disappeared. Oh, found them. No worries. Thank you again for joining me and for putting up with my not being able to find my notes. I'm going to get it together. I'm so glad you're here, but you're going to love that you are here too, because today we're talking about something nobody talks about, right? Nobody wants to talk about poop. It's always been a laughable joke since we've been in elementary school, right? Nobody talks about it, but every single one of you watching me right now is dealing with it. Your bowel habits are important, and when they get off, you know how much they can mess everything up. So, you probably heard a lot of different things about what's normal and what's not normal, but what you've been told is normal probably isn't. So, that is what we're going to talk about tonight or today if you're listening on the audio podcast. Let's go. Welcome to If Mama Ain't Healthy, Ain't Nobody Healthy. I'm your host, Lori Morris, a Christian midwife, mama of 3, and wellness coach who believes your body isn't broken, it's beautifully designed by God. Here we talk about how to restore your energy, balance your hormones, and find peace and true wellness in your body again, no matter what stage of motherhood you're in, whether you're pregnant, postpartum, in the messy middle of mom life, or you're trying to conceive. And we do it all through biblical truth and practical, holistic living. Because you're not meant to just survive motherhood, you're meant to thrive in it. Let's dive in. Okay, so if you are only going to the bathroom a few times a week and somebody told you that that is normal, let me just tell you, they're wrong. Sometimes I hear people say things like, I only go every 2 days, maybe every 3 days, maybe every 4 days. That's just how my body is. Y'all, that is not normal. That may be common, but it's not normal and it's not good. And it's telling you that something is going on that needs to be dealt with. Many women are dealing with things like postpartum constipation, bloating that's become their baseline. Like they're just used to it and that's just normal. Their belly's always puffy, they're always bloated. Maybe you're relying on supplements, or maybe your morning coffee is what you rely on to get you to go. But if that's the case for you, if you fall into any of those categories or any other category that's putting you into a position where you're not going normally or every day, we need to talk about that because that means that there is something not functioning optimally in your body. You know, we'll talk about things like hormones. We'll talk about metabolism. We talk about that here all the time. We'll talk about energy, but we ignore the system that literally is responsible for eliminating waste. And what you need to know is if you are not eliminating waste the way that God intended for your body to eliminate waste, that waste is recirculating in one way or another. Estrogen clearance is something that is very important that most people don't realize is happening every time you poop. Toxin load is being decreased. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. Toxin load is being decreased when you eliminate because those toxins are getting pulled into your stool and it moves out. But if you do not go regularly and that stool just sits in your colon, those toxins get reabsorbed. And so you're not getting the toxins out. Not going to the bathroom regularly, as we're going to talk about what that means in a minute, can lead to inflammation. Some women, some of you listening to me right now are doing everything right, and yet you're constipated. And what I have found is if a woman is doing everything right, but she's constipated, and so that can cause her to still not feel quite right. And once you address the constipation issue, energy issues shift, you get back to feeling good again, and weight shifts. Now, before we move on to what is normal, and what's not normal, I want to share a special quick message with you about a special place I would love to have you join. And then I'm going to help you understand. We're going to go through what is normal for bowel habits and what's not. If you have been curious about Verity Village when you've heard me talking about it here on the podcast and you've been wondering what's that all about, I have got some great news for you today, because now you can come try Verity Village for 2 days for just $2. It's like almost no commitment, right? Verity Village, Verity, by the way, means truth. Verity Village is a private community for Christian women just like you who want clarity, they want support, they want wisdom without the noise of social media or the pressure to already have it all figured out. Come read the conversations, watch the replays, and just see if this is the kind of place that you've been looking for. Just go to https://www.morriswellnessservices.com/Verity Village. That's VERITY Village, or just go down to the show notes and click the link. Okay, so what is normal? Okay, I'm not talking about what somebody told you is normal. I'm not talking about what you think is normal. I'm talking about what is actually normal for your body. What is your body supposed to be doing? How did God design your body to eliminate waste? Well, some people might say that anywhere from 3 to 4 times a week is normal, but let me just tell you that's not normal. What is actually normal, the normal frequency for bowel movements, it can be from 3 times as many times as 3 times a day. And anywhere from 3 times a day to 3 times a week is considered statistically common, but it's not normal. So when you hear people say 3 times a week is normal, it's not. But up to 3 times a day actually can be normal. Optimal health typically looks like at least 1 to 2 well-formed bowel movements per day. What does well-formed mean? Well, if you're the kind of person who really enjoys getting into this kind of stuff, okay, there is actually a chart that will teach you what your poop is supposed to look like. It's called the Bristol Stool Chart. It's not in the description right now. I will put it there after I get done recording. But you can go to Google and just type in Bristol, Bristol, stool chart, and it's going to give you different pictures of what your poop should look like and what it shouldn't look like. And that will give you a very good indication of what well-formed bowel movements look like. Well-formed means it should be soft. It should be formed, meaning it shouldn't be loose. It shouldn't be like falling apart in the toilet. And it should be easy to pass. You should not have to strain. You should not have to push. You should not have to work on it like it's childbirth, okay? It should be easy to pass. And you should feel completely empty when you're done, meaning you should not feel like you still have something remaining, okay? This often will happen within 30 to 60 minutes of waking or eating. It's called the gastrocolic reflex, and it's when your brain sends a message to your colon that it's time to go. Many people go very, quickly in their day, early in the morning, and then often after meals, because when you start to put food in, that gastrocolic reflex happens, so that basically your colon is moving something out to make room for the food that is making its way in. What is not normal? Even if it's common, even if most of the people go this way, what is not normal? Normal is not skipping days regularly. You should not be frequently missing entire days with no stool. Normal is not hard pellet-like stools or, lots of little balls. That's not normal. Straining is not normal. Feeling like you did not completely pass everything is not normal. Bloating building up through the day is not normal. Needing caffeine or laxatives or magnesium just to be able to go is not normal. And the last thing is most definitely not normal. Pain, mucus in the stool, or blood in the stool is not only not normal, it's a red flag, and it's a reason that you might need to go see your doctor, because those things should not be happening when You shouldn't have mucus or blood in your stool, and it should not be a painful thing. Okay. This matters more than you realize. Okay. It's not just about getting to poop every day. Okay. Yeah, that's great and all. It makes you feel good, but that is not what this is about. Okay. It's about a lot more than that. I mentioned earlier estrogen clearance. This is one of the big things that is not talked about. Okay. It is something that most people are completely unaware of. It's something I was unaware of until I started my functional medicine training that I'm still in right now and will be completing very soon. Estrogen is passed through the liver and then eliminated via the stool when you poop. Okay, so your estrogen does its job. When it's done, it passes through the liver, eliminated via stool. But when you are not going every day, that estrogen can be reabsorbed in your colon and then recirculated through your body in a more toxic form, causing hormone imbalances and then all of the problems that arise downstream from hormone imbalances. This is a very big deal. There are women who are dealing with hormonal imbalances and issues from having too much estrogen that is arising simply from the fact that they are not pooping every day. It's just that simple. And yet we go to doctors to fix our hormone problems and they give you a pill or they put you on HRT or hormone replacement therapy or whatever other prescription they want to give you without ever once addressing the fact that if you are not going every day, that alone could be causing your problem. It is really that important. Okay. There's also a gut brain connection. Constipation impacts mood and anxiety. Of course, you just feel bad, right? When you haven't been going, but it can actually lead into mood issues, anxiety issues. But who has ever asked you when you talk to your doctor about anxiety, have they ever once asked you, well, how's your poop habits? I bet they haven't. It also impacts metabolism because when you have sluggish digestion, you have sluggish metabolic signaling. And when waste sits too long in your colon, it leads to increased reabsorption of those waste products, and then they get recirculated through your body. Beyond that, the longer stool sits in your colon, the more water gets reabsorbed. And so the longer it sits there, the harder the stool becomes, the harder it becomes for it to pass. And that alone causes more and more constipation because your colon basically is, the longer the stool sits there, it's pulling all of these things like the water and everything back out. And so the longer it sits there, the more that's getting pulled out, the harder it's going to be to go anyway. Okay. It's so important to be going to the bathroom, to be having bowel movements daily or multiple times per day. These good, soft, formed stools. So, what should you be doing to make sure that you have this kind of regularity? Well, first of all, you need to be eating enough, okay? Especially protein and those whole, healthy, real carbs, not processed carbs, but whole carbs. If you are under eating to try to lose weight, not only is that under eating going to completely sabotage your weight loss, as I talked about in our masterclass that we had last week or 2 weeks ago, the real reason you're not losing weight, if you are under eating, that alone can lead to you not being able to lose weight, but it also will lead to sluggish gut motility, meaning your gut is not going to empty the way that it needs to. The gut needs fuel to move the stool out. So you have to be eating enough of the right foods, good, healthy, whole foods. Additionally, you've got to have plenty of hydration with electrolytes. When you are only drinking just water and not having electrolytes, especially if you're a victim of number one as well, you're not eating enough and you're not getting enough electrolytes in your food, then that water is just flushing everything out and it's not staying in your body in the places it needs to be. You need to have the right balance of sodium and many other minerals, not just sodium, to help pull water into the stool where it belongs, which makes it that nice, soft consistency to where it will pass easily. You've got to have plenty of fiber. But it can't just be from anywhere. It needs to be from whole food sources, either fruits or root vegetables, or, I talk about all the time on this podcast from fresh meal grains, because those are some of the best places to get the fiber you need in that stool to help that stool pass the way that it needs to. However, if you get too much fiber and you don't have enough hydration, realize that your constipation will likely get worse. You've got to have both. Okay. Now, your morning routine matters. So when you wake up, first thing you should do is hydrate. First thing I do in the morning is I go straight to my water bottle, which is a 40-ounce water bottle, and I drink down almost the whole thing. It gets everything started. It wakes my body up. I personally squeeze lime juice in mine. Lemon is good as well. I just kind of got tired of lemon, tried lime one day, and I love it. And I also put just a little bit of real salt in it, just a shake or two. Makes it have a really nice flavor, gets those electrolytes started for my day, gets me hydrated. Then I eat my breakfast and I go walking when I don't have a sprained ankle. Working on that. Hopefully we'll get back to that routine very soon. But those things in the morning get your body woken up, get your metabolism woken up, get everything moving the way God intended for it to. And then that leads to having healthy bowel habits that start early in the day to get everything cleaned out. Those things trigger that gastrocolic reflex that I talked about, and everything will flow the way that God intended it to. Movement is another really good thing for bowel regularity, because walking is one of the most effective tools. This does not need to be something hardcore. You do not have to exhaust yourself. In fact, it's better, especially in the mornings when you're getting that nice easy start. If you have your breakfast, go out after a meal, after your breakfast, after your lunch, and have a gentle, easy, enjoyable walk. Not pushing yourself, not huffing and puffing, but that easy walk is going to do so much good for your nervous system, which we're going to talk about in just a second. Regulating your nervous system for all the benefits that brings, and that will lead to also bowel regularity. See, nervous system regulation is essential for so many things. I can't go into them all in this podcast, but it is the leading factor in so many things that are out of whack, out of balance in our lives. Okay. Stool or bowel habits being just one of them. Chronic stress slows gut motility. I will give you case in point that I guarantee you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. When you go on vacation, you've got all the stress of getting everything packed, getting everything together, getting there, getting unpacked, especially if you have kids. You're out of your normal routines. You're out of sorts. All these things are stress in our nervous systems, whether we realize it or not. And what happens on vacation? How many of you, oftentimes, your bowels are no longer regular? You become constipated. Happens all the time. And that is directly related to your nervous system being dysregulated because you're not in your normal routines. In little bits like that on a vacation, it's not the end of the world. Obviously, you're going to get back to normal. But if that's your normal everyday, all the time situation, your nervous system is always overactivated, you're always stressed, it's going to slow down your motility. And then here's when you need to pay attention and maybe seek care from a doctor. As I mentioned earlier, if you have blood in your stool, you absolutely need to consider being seen. If you're having unintentional weight loss, meaning pounds are falling off and you don't know why, you need to be seen. If you have persistent constipation despite lifestyle changes that we've talked about, or if you have severe rectal pain or colon pain, these are things that you need to be seen about. Now, your bowel habits are not random. They are a reflection of how your body is functioning overall. If you've been dealing with constipation, with bloating, with irregularity, and you've just been assuming that that is normal, it's not. And hopefully you've gathered that from today. It is time for you to stop guessing. I help women just like you get to the root of what's actually going on so that your body can function the way that it was designed to. So if this sounds like you and you are tired of it and you are ready to feel good again, you can apply for a completely free foundation call, which is just a call where we sit down, we go over what's going on in your world, and we look at your full picture to see how coaching with me could be the answer to you feeling good and feeling like yourself again, having regular bowel habits, having a healthy weight, and just being well, adding not only years to your life, but life to your years. You should not have to force your body to do something that it was designed to do daily. So if it's not doing this on its own, there is very likely something going on underneath that we can address together, and you can start feeling better really, really soon. So if that sounds like you, go to morriswellnessservices.com/application, answer a few short questions, and then you'll book your call with me, and we'll hop on a call and we will start your journey to getting better again and feeling good and being regular and all that good stuff. All right. I hope you'll join me back here next week. If you were blessed in any way by today's episode, please take a minute to share it with a friend you know needs this info, or just post a screenshot on your Instagram stories and tag me so that I'll know you love this episode. Then come join us in Verity Village, my exclusive community built just for Christian women like you who want to learn to be well and live in alignment with God's design for their bodies. I'm in there every day chatting with the members and sharing information about a broad spectrum of topics like natural health, vaccines, nutrition, and the Bible. So you'll have a trustworthy, faith-based source away from noise and distraction for growing in your health and faith this year, along with a community of like-minded women. Also, I'd love it if you would head over to YouTube and subscribe to my channel. You can find links for all these things in the show notes. I'm so very thankful for you, and I look forward to hanging out again with you right here next week.